Alright, hello everybody. Just want to do a quick video of how I do the artwork on your leather products that I make for you. So I start out with templates. I use those disposable cutting boards that you can get at the grocery store. That's what I make my templates out of. Very simple, very cheap. I don't see any reason to get anything more expensive. So I'll put the template over the leather, then I'll draw it out, cut it out to the right shape. My templates for the art, usually if it's something custom, I'll draw it up. If not, I'll just go on the internet and print something out. Make it the right size. Line it up on the leather where I want it to go. And there we go. So this is the long wallet, obviously with Old Glory on it. And it is probably my most famous wallet. Is the one I sell more of these than anything else. And then so after it's taped on there on one side, I just get a spray bottle with water and wet the leather down where the art's gonna go and tape it down. I use masking tape because masking tape doesn't damage the leather like other stronger or more adhesive tapes do. Then using this tool, it's a crafts tool, I trace it and draw it on there. And you'll be able to see what it does once I lift it up a little bit. I got a little bit of Metallica going on in the background here on YouTube on my TV. For your listening pleasure, I think Metallica is probably one of the best bands that ever existed until they cut their hair. I just wasn't a big fan of the Black Album. I don't know. I'm 42 years old. I'm one of the old guys. Whatever. The Black Album wasn't my favorite. They did redeem themselves with that song Fuel, one of my favorite ones. But I think they were like Samson. They cut their hair and lost their powers. And with this American flag template that I'm using, so I printed it out on regular paper and then just covered it with packing, clear packing tape to protect it. Because if I put that paper on the wet leather, it's going to get all wet and fall apart on you. This way with the packing tape, it doesn't so much. It'll hold its shape. Probably takes me from start to finish about an hour and a half to complete one American or Old Glory wallet. So as you see, my wallets do actually have all 50 stars. A lot of companies out there, then they'll do close to 50 stars. But I like to get all 50 of them in there, make it a real flag. Okay, once that's done, the template comes off, and now I need my swivel knife. And here it is. So, there's the swivel knife. Sharp end on that side. Got that from my finger. And this is how we use it. Just like that. It's funny, before I started doing leather work, I really sucked at drawing straight lines. Oh, see here how the tape affected the leather? That's all you got to do. And it's good. On the other side too. But after drawing so many straight lines, especially on this wallet, got pretty good at it. Now I got to work on my circles. I absolutely suck at making a perfect circle. I found the secret to making a perfect straight line is to keep your hand in the same position, but move your whole arm, and that helps keep it straight. Oops, a little bit of a mess up there. And there we go. Now for the stars. This is one of the few places where I use, you see that in there? Where I use a stamp. A stamp is a star stamp. I have a maul. It's a lot better to use a maul when you're doing this repetitive work because a hammer will wear your arm down. A maul, you grab it like this and it's weighted on this end and it's, you know, it's perfectly balanced and it's a lot easier on you. And so line up the star and there you go. "50 times, of course. And so as you see, the little points I made for where the stars go, they disappear with this tool. Speaking of Metallica, I got to see Metallica in St. Louis a couple years ago. It was horrible. Not because Metallica was horrible, but I rode my motorcycle up there from Clarksville, Tennessee. It's a good long trip, and it decided to rain the whole way up there. I had my wet weather gear on, but it was still a miserable ride because it was hot, and with the wet weather gear, it was just getting hotter and hotter and hotter, so I had to stop a couple times more than I wanted to. Wasted more time. And I got to the concert. My pants were soaking wet. My top was dry, but my pants were soaking wet. And my shoes were soaking wet, so that's pretty miserable. And I go to the concert. Volbeat was opening for them, and I got there a little late for Volbeat. Kind of pissed off about that. But, you know, that's the way the traffic was on the way down. And so soaking wet, and then it was raining in the stadium. So I was soaking wet for the whole thing. Pretty miserable. But Metallica puts on an awesome show. Completely worth the ride. Now with this, you see how it kind of warped a little bit? Probably should have done this at the beginning. I can always straighten that out by wetting the leather and putting it, I'll put it underneath this this granite slab to flatten it out, but to avoid it from warping anymore, if I can get my tape up, there we go. Let's put some tape on the back side, and that way as I'm tooling, instead of warping, everything's stuck there, instead of warping, and because when you put an indention, it makes the leather want to spread out. The tape stops it from spreading out and makes the leather, the indentions go down. See, I probably should have done that before. But as I said, I can fix that. I just wet that down, putting it under something flat, and it'll fix out that warp. And then I use this tool. It's a, actually I don't want to use this one yet. I want to use this one. This one's a beveler. Got a beveled edge. And a lot of people will sit here and they'll take their mallet and they'll do that. What I find works just as well, just putting the beveled edge there, pressing down with a lot of just regular pressure, and it makes the indentation, saves you a little time, a little faster than tap, 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 going all the way down. And this, you can't really see here in the video, but it makes it makes the art pop out. It gives it a sense of depth. So that way you have the wallet, and then it looks like the American flag is coming up out of the wallet. Okay. And then the line, then use this tool, it's a little texture tool, to make the lines. Now I use it on the lines that are traditionally red. It gives it a little more depth. And of course I don't use red on this wallet, I just use brown. Well, this one's actually going to be a black wallet, and with the art being brown and black. So these textured lines, which are usually red, are going to be black, and then the white ones are going to be brown. And the field of stars is going to be brown also. I'm really quick on this, but this was the first time I made this. It took me a very, very long time to learn how to steady my hand so I wouldn't mess it up and cross the lines and make it look bad. I've been making this wallet for about 6 years now, and so if you try it at home, it might take you a little bit. It might take a little longer to get your straight lines, to get all the art done well, but after hundreds of these, I can safely say I can safely go through it pretty quickly. So that tapping, you know, that is the sound of the Leatherman's trade. Either you're tapping to put the art on, or you're tapping to put holes in the leather. You see, not the longest of processes. It's not the most difficult. It takes time. You have to learn how to steady your hands. And when it's art that you've already done a million times before, it makes it go a lot faster. I think when I first started a wallet like this, probably took me about 4 hours to make. Now I'm down to about an hour, hour and a half. And there you go. There's the art. That's how I do it. The next step will be dyeing it. I'll do a video on that later.